Hello, this is John Murky, co-chair of IHE ITI Planning Committee. I'm going to introduce you to the privacy consents on FHIR, the PCF, at the public comment phase. So, why does PCF exist? Well, it's a brand new implementation guide, but it's based upon some existing use cases. So we start with document sharing, MHDS, XDS, and XCA. These are the foundation of how communications are happening within an HIE with using IHE. We have within those a consent solution using basic patient privacy consents and advanced patient privacy consents. But these are founded on CDA and XACML. So we're looking for a more FHIR-friendly solution, and FHIR has the FHIR consent resource available. So we're also trying to advance some of the state-of-the-art in consent and access control. So when you're reviewing PCF, there are some major parts to it. Clearly, the whole thing should be reviewed, but some of the major parts. First off, it's dominated by Volume 1, where we define in classic form actors and transactions and options. All of those are important to review. Within Volume 1, we explain the relationship between consent and consent management and access control. We explain the differences within access control between the decisions being made based on business rules and consent rules, and how those would be enforced within this implementation guide architecture. We are leveraging the Internet User Authorization, the IUA profile, that is a profile of oAuth, and within the consent, we're providing three primary distinguishing options. There are basic options that support classic, opt-in and opt-out. There are some intermediate supports that support many use cases that are commonly needed today, but does not use data tagging, and then advanced, which uses security tags, privacy tags, tagged data, and the rules that would potentially use that. So these three different options allow for a more and more complex, more and more capable system. There is an updated Appendix P that's in this implementation guide that goes through how do you write policies around privacy access? What are the differences between obligations and refrains? How do I understand the FHIR consent model? And what is the security labeling service that's referred to? Appendix P is informative, but it's very foundational to the understanding of the PCF. Volume 2 has one transaction within it that's part of the PCF. That transaction is a very simplistic transaction to support the manipulation of consent resource, creating, updating, searching, deleting, and the like. But there are some updates to IUA, specifically the ITI 71 transaction, where we are updating it with when the decision that is being communicated with the ITI 71 response is based upon a consent, a PCF consent, and if that has any particular residual rules that need to be enforced. So that is very important. So some open issues that we are explicitly requesting comment on during this public comment phase are the following four. Within the advanced option, we have a required subset of confidentiality codes, normal and restricted. We're kind of confident of those. And we have a subset of sensitivity codes, these high-level concepts. And what we're looking for is whether these are the right sensitivity codes. Are they too many of them? Are there not enough? Is there one missing or two missing? So we're really looking for what kinds of groups, high-level groups of sensitivity codes that would be important to have as a conformance criteria for software. Again, these are conformance criteria, that does not mean that you must, in an operational environment, support consents that have all of these as part of the policy. Second open issue is within the basic explicit option, we have the ability for a consent to identify specific agents that have authorization by the consent, where the agent could be a device, a related person, practitioner, or organization. We have examples in there on what these are. This was something that was supported by BPPC and therefore was put into the basic group. However, we're hearing that this might not be very commonly implemented or needed, and therefore maybe it should be in the intermediate group. So request comment on that. Third is on the topic of break glass. We've put in quite a bit of discussion around break glass. We've put in how you would express particular consent-based rules for break glass, how those consent-based rules for break glass would affect the authorization decision. However, since we really haven't defined a specific way to declare break glass, there's some question about whether we should have any break glass mentions in here at all. And lastly, this question about the use of provenance on all of the create, read, update, delete activities on consent. We have all of the changes covered with an audit event, and the use case that we expect is covered by audit events, but there is some interest in provenance. So the question we're asking is, do you actually have interest in provenance? There are some example provenance resources in the IG today, but there is no conformance requirements around provenance. So that's the introduction to the PCF for the public comment phase. Very interested in comments on open issues, comments on the oAuth profiling that we've done, comments on the set of example consents and the support for consents, the grouping of in basic, intermediate, and advanced. We're also very interested in any comments around readability or quality issues. Whether you have a better way to explain something or you've heard a particular topic explained a different way, recommend those explanations to us. And of course, if you have better diagrams or better figures or additional diagrams or figures, I'm very interested in that. So again, PCF is out for public comment, and we welcome your comments. Thank you.